to one and all, and thanks for tuning in to our blade/frame adjustment and mounting guide. This video is produced by and sponsored by Thorup, your speed skating equipment specialist. You'll find us in the link below in the description. In today's video, we're going to look at how you should probably mount and adjust your blade. We see a lot of people that either tend to fall on the inside of the skate or the outside. So in this video, we're going to show you how exactly to mount your blade and position it in order to get the most out of your skating, so there's no more tilting to the inside or tilting to the outside of the skate. Before we get started, I want to make sure that we all know that this goes for inline skates, whether you have 3 wheels, 4 wheels, and also for ice blades, even though the way you're gonna mount the skates is a little bit different. It's the same idea of how you want to position the blades in order to get a perfect angle, standing spot on right on the top of your inline wheels. So there's a bunch of different things in terms of equipment, but also the ways you can strengthen your muscles and improve your balance in order to be perfectly on top without tilting to the inside or the outside. But let's start with the equipment first. Before we get started, you want to make sure that you have a hex or an Allen wrench key, 4 millimeters, or there's a hex or an Allen, depend on the mate you have, the kind of blades or frames, and also the brand of skates. So it has to fit the mounting system we have below. Anyways, make sure that you have both ready, and then you're good to go. First off, I'm just gonna take this blade frame off and try and show you guys where you want to position it at first. Okay, so at first, no need to take all 4 wheels off. Of course, if it's a brand new frame, you're not gonna have any wheels on it at all. But the good thing about leaving 2 wheels on is that you can easily, the first time you're out trying it, take them off again and readjust the frame if it's not perfectly positioned. So we always recommend the first time you're out skating, regardless of how your general knee position or ankle twisting is, try and put the frame right in the middle. So as you can see, if I take this EO frame up close, you're gonna notice how this is in both ends made to be adjusted sideways. It's only gonna be one-way rotation here. On the other hand, most boots cleverly made so that you're gonna be able to rotate the boot mounts going forward and backwards. So the frame side to side, boot forward backwards. Super smart. Anyways, try and always go for a somewhat centered position. So right in the middle of it, in terms of movement this way and also this way. The reason for this is that generally boots and frames are already made, so they're trying to fit the most average skater out there. However, there's a big chance you're gonna fall outside of that group because we're all different and we all skate in different ways. But try that out first. As you can see here on these skates, I left a piece of tape here. This is so that I can remember where exactly I position my frames. So I'm gonna go for a skate, I'm gonna observe how my feet are doing, how my knees are doing. If they fall a bit on the outside, I'll try and move the frame a little further in towards the center of my body, towards the center of gravity, and then I'll go try again until it feels natural. You do want to, even though one foot might be a little different to another, even though we always turn counterclockwise, you would still want to aim for these to be somewhat symmetrical so that you will have a position equally in your right and your left skate, because we want to skate symmetrically when going straight forward, and goes for both inline skating and long track speed skating. There's a lot of straightaways, so even though it might feel a little more comfortable when turning, you still gotta make sure that it's also comfortable when going straight forward. One more issue that we see a lot of people struggle with without being conscious about it is that your wheels can be too used. As you can see here, these junk wheels are brand new, so they have a perfectly round shape. Unlike used wheels that tempt to, because we generally push on one side of the skate or one side of the wheel, not as much right on top, they get somewhat V-shaped. And once you get that shape, it's really hard to stand perfectly on top of your skates, and that's a really big and common reason why people fall on the inside or fall on the outside. So make sure to change your wheels regularly, or in most cases you can also just flip the wheels and you're gonna make them last twice as long. So make sure you got that taken care of before we get out there. Another thing, the size of your wheels. We have already made videos on this subject specifically, which you can find on my channel as well. You can click a little map here, or you can just go look it up once this video is over with. But make sure not to go out at first with too large wheels. These wheels are 110 millimeters, which I and we recommend to most skaters because it's a good mix of still a sufficient diameter that you can skate fast enough. There's a lot of roll in them, but they're not so big and so tall that you get lifted too far off the ground, as we see with 125 millimeters, or like in these frames, 3 wheels. There's just fewer points of touching the ground. It's a little harder to steer, and also because you get lifted further and higher up, it really takes a lot more stability and strength in the angles and even the whole body just to maintain it on top of it. And you might experience that you go faster in these frames at first, but honestly, in most cases, it won't make you better, and very few skaters, even amongst elite skaters, have the technical capacities to really get everything out of these frames. So use them for competitions, the 125 millimeters, but for practice, especially if you're struggling with falling on the inside, falling on the outside, don't go out and start with 2 big wheels right away. We recommend 100 millimeters or 110 if you're a larger person. Another thing you want to look closer at when choosing your frames, if this is a problem to you, is also how far off the ground it is. So as you can see with this junk wheel frame, it's very, very close to actually touching the boot. There is few millimeters in between wheel and boot, which is a positive thing, because that means you're closer to the ground and it's easier for you to gain control and master your skates, and not the other way around. Okay, so this was a lot of information about the equipment, how you can adjust your frame to be a little more the inside to the outside, feel it off, start having the position perfectly in the middle. Make sure to use the tape if you fall to the inside or the outside. You want to move it a little closer in. However, a big reason of this is because you're either A, not used to skating a lot, or B, because you're simply not strong enough in the muscles that make sure that you're on top of your skate, efficient and ready to push. So the last part of this video is gonna be me showing you guys a bunch of different exercises that you can do to get stronger in some of the muscles that are actually controlling where we have our knees and where we position the skate and in what angle the skate is positioned in. And they're generally going to target the side of your glutes, because that's what we use to try and maintain that stable line right in the middle. So if you're able to control whether your knee is on the inside or the outside, you're going to be able to control how that angle goes straight towards from hip, from center of gravity, down into the wheels and into the skate, into the ground. And that's how we create speed. There's also going to be a link right here to a line of exercises that I called glute activation exercises, and I really recommend you to take a look at those and try and perform them regularly, at least once a week. It's not going to be an overnight change, but if you do that frequently, it's going to make you a lot stronger, and at some point you're just unconsciously going to be able to put down the skate in the perfect position right away and push into the ground without being nervous or caving to the inside or the outside of the plates. But some super simple exercise that everybody can do and practice. There's no excuses not to do it, and that will most likely fix it if you already got all the equipment on point. So take a look at these. So here we go. This first exercise is pretty simple. Move the legs up to the side because you want to activate and strengthen the gluteus medius, the side of the butt essentially, which is the muscle that we use to keep our knees to the outside and avoid them from falling inwards, as it may be the problem to most of you people that have watched this video. If this becomes too easy by time, put on an elastic band and you will suddenly realize that it can be a lot harder. It's going to put more resistance on it, and it's going to be harder to keep it stabilized and not let that knee point in as you move the other leg to the side. As you can see here in a few seconds, I'm not actually pushing straight to the side because no matter how much we wish to do so when we're out skating, we will inevitably push a little backwards. So just to really try and imitate the movement, I do push a little backwards when I'm doing this to the side. Try and make it as controlled as possible and really focus on keeping those knees in the right position. So this next one is gonna be a little closer to the skating movements, some smooth imitations. We're down in position. And again, don't rush this. Be really deliberate with how you do it. And if anything, you want to keep a little more weight to the outside of the knees and the feet. So slowly transfer from side to side, especially at the end of the pushes where most people tend to fall inwards. And the final one is basically just walking from side to side, which is much harder than it looks when you have a cable around your knees. But again, through the whole movement, keep the knees in the right position. Thanks a lot for watching. I'm Viktor Thorup, Olympic speed skater. This video was made and in collaboration with topskate.dk, your specialist in speed skating equipment. See you for the next videos. Thanks a lot for watching.